all of this time, but it's in fantastic condition for being 100 years old.
I mean, and when the post office finally delivered it, did they not notice that either?
Yeah, that's a mystery.
Finally got there.
Crazy.
The news at 5 starts right now.
Where the news comes first. This is KCRA 3 News at 5.
Straight up at 5, Assemblymember Mia Bonta is still planning on leading a state budget committee that oversees the budget for the Department of Justice, headed by her husband, Attorney General Rob Bonta. Political experts have said that this raises some serious ethical issues. Now, we've reached out to Assemblymember Mia Bonta's office multiple times for interview requests, but were ignored each time.
Yeah, and today, KCRA 3 Capitals correspondent Ashley Zavala finally caught up with her as she was leaving the Assembly chambers at the Capitol. So, Ashley, you finally caught up with her. What did she have to say?
Right. And I just first want to walk you through the process of this week. We made repeated requests through email and phone calls to Assemblymember Mia Bonta's office this week. We told her office we were working on follow-up stories. Those requests went unanswered. Then on Wednesday, a different news outlet quoted her blaming racism and sexism for the ethical questions raised in our reporting. I went to her office that day to explain the questions we wanted answered. Her chief of staff said she would take it back to the member. We approached her after the session this morning.
I'll make a statement to you. I'm not doing an interview.
You're not going to do, you don't want to answer questions?
I will make a statement, Ashley. That's what I will do.
Sorry, we probably shouldn't be in the, okay. What's your statement?
As legislators, we have an obligation to ensure that the people of California have absolute confidence in the legislative and budget process. We have spoken with the Assembly ethics attorneys who agreed there is no violation of the ethical rules in my holding this position. My district is amongst the highest impacted by gun violence and the carceral system, and the Speaker appointed me knowing that I would be a voice for the victims and communities affected by issues of public safety. That being said, any budget proposal regarding the DOJ that comes under my purview on Budget Sub 5 will go through a transparent and open budget process, including publicly posting agendas, having the entire subcommittee voting on recommendations to amend, approve, or deny budget proposals, and having these discussions happen in an open session, broadcasted and archived to be later reviewed and voted on by the Budget Committee and ultimately the entire legislature.
So you're not going to recuse yourself
Thank
from
you.
DOJ
That's my
items?
statement.
Was it racist and sexist for us to bring this up? I mean, what about this?
I offered you a statement, Ashley. That's
I understand,
my statement.
but there are a lot
much.
of questions the people of California, taxpayers in the state, would like to know if you're going to recuse yourself from DOJ items.
Choose to air my statement if you really actually want to offer truth in your storytelling.
I'm offering truth. I mean, also, but I mean, if we look at the other subcommittees, the other leaders don't really have other experience. I mean, you campaign on education. Here I go. You campaign on education and working families, and you have so much experience with education nonprofits. Why wouldn't you ask to do the education budget subcommittee? I mean, when we look at Dr. Joaquin Arambula and other members that have actual experience.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay,
Excuse me.
Assemblymember Mia Bonta, the people of California would like to know if you are going to recuse yourself from Department of Justice items.
Excuse me. Air the statement that I made, Ashley, if you're being fair.
Assemblymember Bonta, I am a journalist. I am a fair reporter, and I'm asking questions. If you would like to have a discussion.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, in Oakland, Attorney General Rob Bonta held a press conference on a totally separate issue, but was asked for the first time in person about this issue.
Decisions about who serves on certain committees and subcommittees are decisions made by the legislature, so I refer you to the legislature.
Now, we have followed up with the Attorney General's office to ask, because we've been getting that same statement this whole week, and really even up until last week. Does he not speak with his wife? Do they not make family decisions? I mean, presumably, one would think that they have ambitions that they share together. They talk about their plans, and I mean, really, he's just kind of assuming potentially no involvement in this. So, yeah.
Well, and in her statement that Mia read to you, she mentioned the legislative ethics attorney. Have you verified this with him?
No, I have not. I reached out to him just within hours after receiving the statement from Mia Bonta, this interaction that we had. I called him, I left him a voicemail. We have not heard back. But again, I mean, we will make more attempts to make sure that we understand really the ethics that the legislature has written down that verify what she's saying in that statement.
And you asked a lot of fair follow-up questions just based on things that she said at the end of it. You could have gone in that elevator. It's the People's Capitol. You could go in there, but you were blocked and you were pushed.
Yeah, and right now the Capitol setup is strange because of the Capitol Annex project. There are 2 exits that lawmakers could normally make. There was a members hallway and media was allowed there. They were also able to use the doorway that we had. Right now there's only one way out, and that's the hallway that we used. Yes, I take that elevator down every time. Sometimes I ride that same elevator with members, but I was pushed out of the way, and a sergeant very kindly asked me to not block the elevator, and that's where things ended.
But at the end of the day, we have 2 lawmakers who are still unwilling to address what looks like a bad look, what looks like a potential conflict of interest.
Right, and the experts that we have spoken to on this issue have again and again and again said she doesn't not need to lead this committee. She doesn't not need to weigh in on public safety, but she should recuse herself from, and this is from the words of Bob Stern, who has decades of political experience. He was the general counsel of the Fair Political Practices Commission, who say, I mean, that she should recuse herself from directly overseeing her husband's budget.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are wondering that. Why not just recuse yourself? It's not like she gets paid more money by being on this board, correct? Right. So why not just recuse yourself?
Yeah.
Ashley, good job.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we have more on this. We had a chance to ask Chuck Todd, moderator of Meet the Press, to weigh in on what's happening here.
Yeah, and we explained everything to him. We told him Assemblymember Mia Bonta's initial response to us that we aired here on KCRA 3 was that we did not understand the legislative process. Those were her words.
At the end of the day, who pays their salary? And anytime a taxpayer-funded official tries to say to a member of the public or the men of the press, you just don't understand, that is the beginning of sort of entrenched power. And it's almost as if, well, wait a minute, you're a representative of the people. You're not supposed to be sort of, this isn't some private sector company where we're asking you to divulge the secret sauce or something.
We talked to Chuck Todd about all of this. He shared his take on how this looks for both Assemblymember Bonta and the state's Democratic Party, the optics of this. And you can watch that entire interview by scanning the QR code on your screen right now, or just go to KCRA.com.